Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're taking on a massive, honestly, pretty stressful struggle in the digital economy. You know the one, having a resume that looks like a completely scattered jigsaw puzzle. But what if, and hear me out, what if that nonlinear, all over the place background is actually your greatest strategic advantage? Today, we are laser focused on how diverse past careers fuel modern brand authority, and we're looking at a fascinating case study that proves it. Okay, let's dive into this. Do you ever feel like you just have way too many interests? Because in an online world that is literally constantly screaming at you to niche down, jumping from industry to industry can really feel like a massive weakness. You might be sitting there worrying that a multi-hyphenate background just looks like a cluttered mess to potential clients. I mean, we're always told to pick one thing and stick to it, right? But what if that scattered background is exactly what makes you the absolute expert in the room? What if the distinct layers of your past are the exact building blocks required for modern authority? Section 1, the multi-hyphenate advantage. And to really get into this, we're going to look at our definitive case study, Twanna Y'vette, because her story shows exactly how a diverse resume is a massive competitive advantage. Let's walk through her timeline, because her professional journey is just an absolute masterclass in this. We're talking over 3 decades of professional artistry here. Decades past, she was a licensed minister of music. Then years past, she worked as a certified cosmetologist and makeup artist. More recently, she was deeply involved in playwriting and stage performance. And present day, she operates as a highly successful digital creator and consultant. Now, at first glance, you're probably thinking, no way, what on earth does doing makeup or directing a choir have to do with being a digital consultant? It sounds completely disconnected. But as we unpack this, you're going to see how these seemingly random, unrelated fields actually built the ultimate foundation for her current digital strategy. Section 2, Artistry meets Digital Strategy. Let's look at exactly how those past artistic careers translate directly to modern consulting. So how does doing makeup or directing a choir translate to digital authority? Well, it builds this uniquely profound creative foundation. Think about it. Her artistic mastery, that rigorous background in cosmetology and music, it gives her an eye for detail, color theory, and harmonic design that most digital-only strategists completely lack. I mean, when you spent years matching skin tones and perfectly visualizing a finished look, you understand aesthetics on a level a basic marketing course just can't teach you. And then there's the performance aspect. Decades in stage performance and musical instrumentation inform exactly how she guides other creators. She literally knows how to command a room, how to project, and how to present with absolute excellence. It's the difference between just casually turning on a webcam and truly holding an audience's attention.
And this brilliantly illustrates our next point. That deep background as an author and playwright ultimately translates into something called pedagogical provenance. Now, I know that's a very fancy term, but the concept is a real game changer. Basically, it's the act of demystifying processes by designing instructional resources, workbooks, and repeatable roadmaps for client success. Because Twanna understands the structure of a play, right? The acts, the character arcs, the pacing. So she inherently knows how to structure a learning experience. She doesn't just do content. She uses that instructional design history from playwriting to build actual structural roadmaps that take clients from totally confused to crystal clear.
Section 3, from reactive to strategic. Let's look at the stark contrast between a standard creator and a real strategic systems builder. Because there is a huge difference here. Take a look at the standard content creator on the left. They're often just reacting to trends, focusing on really simple, kind of random production just to feed the algorithm. It's like a hamster wheel, it's exhausting, and honestly, it rarely builds lasting equity. But a strategic consultant on the right, totally different story. They're actively building infrastructure. They create intentional pedagogical resources and comprehensive brand roadmaps. It's the profound difference between just making content for the sake of getting views and actually architecting the foundation for a deeply monetizable, authoritative brand. And when you build that infrastructure, you completely transform your audience. Look at this breakdown. If a creator relies strictly on random posting, their audience stays in this passive state. People might scroll by, maybe leave a quick like, but the result is low engagement and pretty much zero loyalty. But when you apply intentional systems, the kind drawn from a deep creative history like Twanna's, the entire dynamic shifts. The audience actually moves from passive consumers into an active state of learning and participation. The result? Consistent, high-value broadcasting. Her systems are moving creators and their audiences away from random posting and toward real, highly engaged interactions that actually build a business. Section 4, claiming your professional title. This is where you really have to name your authority and find something truly authentic. Finding the right title is tough. It takes some trial and error for sure. Let's trace Twanna's journey here. First, she tried going by content creator, but that completely failed to capture her strategic value. It just didn't cover the instructional design or the consulting side of things. So she pivoted and tried media architect. Sounds pretty strategic and fancy, right? Actually, scratch that. She realized it felt forced and just unappealing. It completely lacked the human, artistic touch she was known for. Finally, she landed on digital creator and consultant, and that was the authentic, perfect fit. It beautifully captures both her active presence in content creation and her deep background in structural guidance. Your branding is only going to work if it actually feels authentic to your roots. And all of that evolution culminates in this absolutely brilliant professional introduction. She states, "I help creators bridge the gap between their professional artistry and digital strategy. I don't just help you create, I help you build a sustainable foundation." Notice what she's doing here? She isn't hiding her 30-year past at all. She is weaponizing it. She masterfully synthesizes all of it. The music, the stage, the cosmetology, the playwriting, it's all synthesized into one crystal-clear value proposition that establishes a level of authority that a standard linear resume literally couldn't touch. Section 5. Synthesizing your unique brand. Okay, now it's time for us to apply this framework to your own multi-hyphenate background. You need to define your brand's North Star. First, synthesize your why. You have to explicitly link your past to your present capabilities, no matter how wild or unrelated it seems right now. Find that common thread. Next, center on results. Don't just talk about the content you make, highlight the systemic, repeatable roadmaps you provide for others. And most importantly, set the tone. Establish yourself as an expert guide and mentor. Defining this North Star is absolutely crucial because it prevents you from being labeled as just another online influencer and instead establishes you as a true expert guide. So the crucial point is this: your past experiences are not a cluttered resume. They are the raw architectural materials for your brand. Every single one of those years you spent in seemingly unrelated industries, learning totally different skills, that hidden professional artistry is actually your greatest asset. It gives you the texture and the depth to offer something no one else can. Which leaves us with one massive question. How will your past build your future brand? Seriously, I want to challenge you today to stop trying to fit into a tiny, perfect little box just because the internet told you to niche down. Look at your entire, messy, multi-hyphenate history and start using all of those distinct experiences to build your modern authority. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.